Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be talking about the threats for severe weather, which today's threat did change dramatically. And we will be talking about today's threat in just a second. But we also will be going over the threats for flash flooding, and we also have a wild system to talk about at the end of this video that could impact northern Florida twice. Florida could be seeing two tropical depressions in 1 week as that system could start heading into northern Florida from being in the Gulf of Mexico and then heading back into the Atlantic and then making a U-turn and then heading right back in. You know how crazy that is. So we will show you guys that at the end of today's video. But if you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. And again, I really do appreciate you guys getting me up to 270 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. But if you also haven't liked already, make sure to like my video down below too as well. It helps out more than you know. But let's first go ahead and talk about what today's threat is. And yesterday, just Indiana and Ohio were included. I don't know if you guys remembered that, but just Indiana and Ohio were included. But now that shifts all the way down into southern Kentucky. Guys, that is a huge change compared to what we saw yesterday, and now that also includes more of Illinois, if why not most of Illinois, back into a little bit there of Missouri. Like I said, this did not look like yesterday's threat. This looked much different now, and of course, what also makes this threat different is we actually do have a 2% risk for tornadoes now all the way down into southern Kentucky. Again, this is pretty different from what we saw yesterday. But if you guys do live in this 2% area, make sure to be on high alert. And again, I know Kentucky wasn't really included in the slight risk for yesterday, but if you do live in Kentucky, make sure to start making your tornado action plan in place right now because you guys just got upgraded today. So make sure to start doing that right now before things do start ongoing. Like I said, you guys weren't really at risk for severe storms for today, but now you guys did get upgraded. So make sure to start having your tornado action plan in place by now. Same goes for parts of Illinois. Parts of Illinois also weren't really included, but now a lot of Illinois is included. So if you do live in that 2% risk for tornadoes in Illinois, make sure to also have your tornado action plan in place just in case. Indiana and Ohio, you guys were at risk for severe thunderstorms for today, yesterday, so you probably already know that you're still at risk for today. So make sure to continue remembering to have your tornado action plan in place just in case. Same goes for damaging winds. We could be seeing some damaging winds across Illinois, Kentucky, southwest Ohio, heading into Indiana, and as well as eastern Missouri. So make sure to be on high alert for that, especially as we could be seeing some wind gusts as high as 70, maybe even as high as 80 miles per hour, because there was some storms down here in Indiana that actually produced up to 80-mile-per-hour winds. I know I wasn't live for that, but they were producing 80-mile-per-hour winds last Tuesday, which was a crazy thunderstorm, by the way. And then we even do have a threat for some large hail too as well across parts of the marginal risk, but even all of the site risk. But let's also go ahead and look at tomorrow's threat, and let's look at what we can expect, okay? And as you guys can see, we do have two marginal risks, one across southeast Arizona and then another one across the lower Ohio Valley into the Atlantic and southeast. So main concern looks to be damaging winds, as the only threat that we have is a 5% risk for damaging winds. When you only have one hazard in play like that, it's not really very concerning, not even as concerning as it could have been, especially if a tornado threat was in play. But it turns out that one isn't, which is good news. You guys will only be at risk for some damaging winds between 50 and 60 miles per hour, which looks to be the main concern as we do head into tomorrow. So at least make sure you're paying attention to the weather before we head into tomorrow. We could even see an embedded site risk, which they haven't issued yet, but that is going to be a possibility, so I might as well continue to be watching the weather by now. let's look at what we can expect after tomorrow, which will be the beginning of the weekend. And as you guys can see, for Saturday, we do expect there to continue to be at least a lingering threat of severe weather along the East Coast, but we could even still see some severe weather across Minnesota heading into southeast North Dakota and northeast South Dakota. So we will at least continue to be watching you guys as we do head into the weekend. Let's look at that threat for flash flooding, and as you guys can see, we do have a threat for flash flooding heading from northern Illinois and central and southern Wisconsin all the way back through northern and central Indiana, western Ohio, eastern Kentucky, eastern West Virginia, or western West Virginia rather, heading into western Virginia, not western West Virginia, but western Virginia, as you guys can see. So if you do live in that threat for flash flooding, make sure to be on high alert, as we could be seeing a lot of rainfall with these thunderstorms. That site risk does include western Kentucky, central Kentucky, southwest Indiana, and southern Illinois for the threat of severe weather, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this slight risk include those areas during the next Weather Prediction Center update, because when you guys are at risk for severe weather, you guys are also at risk for flash flooding usually, because those severe thunderstorms can also produce very heavy rainfall, causing a threat for flash flooding, so I wouldn't be surprised if this threat for flash flooding did get extended into central and western Kentucky, southern Illinois, southwest Indiana, and maybe even southeast Missouri. Let's look at now tomorrow's threat, and as you guys can see, that does shift off to the east and does include mainly eastern Kentucky, but it does also include extreme southern Ohio, extreme western West Virginia, extreme West Virginia, and as well as northern Tennessee, at least a little bit of it, not really though, but mainly eastern Kentucky looks to be at the highest risk as we do head into tomorrow, so make sure to at least watch the weather if you do live in eastern Kentucky. Now, let's look at the tropics, okay? The tropics are going to be pretty active, okay? Like I said, there's a crazy system that's going to be moving in, which is this one right here that is going to be coming in, okay? This could either go up the East Coast or head into the Gulf Coast, but we actually got a little bit more agreement now that this will actually head into the Gulf Coast, so I'm really glad that I actually drew some arrows heading into the Gulf Coast. Let me head back for a second. I apologize for that, but there was actually some arrows drawing into the Gulf Coast on my thumbnail, which again, I'm glad I did that the last few days, because we were expecting it to go up the East Coast, but it turns out it dramatically changed, and now it's expected to go into the Gulf Coast. So again, I'm glad I drew some arrows going into that area, and look at what's going to happen, okay? That system is going to be heading into the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much curving around Florida, and then look what happens on August 4th, okay? That will pretty much be heading into Florida, could become a tropical storm. We don't think it will really become a hurricane, though. We might still need to be watching for one potentially, especially if this thing is able to rapidly intensify near the warmer waters around Florida. But it looks to be more of a tropical depression or tropical storm threat, and then after that, that storm will head right through northern Florida and head out into the Atlantic Ocean as we head into August 7th, and then look what happens as we head into August 8th. Look at that, that same system curves right back around and impacts Florida a second time. That is rare, guys. That is really rare for a system to impact one area twice. Just imagine getting hit by a hurricane twice, or getting hit by the same hurricane twice. That would be crazy. And of course, very rare, like I said. So you guys in northern Florida do need to be on high alert for this system to potentially impact you guys twice, which is going to be possible, but obviously take this with a grain of salt. I really don't believe this model, guys. This sounds really bullish to me, okay? Especially because it's very rare. Like I said, we don't usually see one system impacting one area again after it has. So this sounds really bullish to me, so make sure to take this with a grain of salt. But we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest and make sure to at least have some preparations in just in case this thing were to rapidly intensify along the coast, bringing you guys hurricane-like conditions. So again, make sure to have some hurricane preparations if you forgot about that, because that is definitely something very important to make, especially before we get into September, because September is actually the most active month of hurricane season. So you should definitely be done with those by now, and you should also be all ready, so make sure to do that. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. If you guys are wondering about if this tropical system is going to impact you, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I will let you guys know if this system could impact you, which mainly looks to impact northern Florida, like I said. But again, it just looks very bullish to me. It doesn't look like this system is really going to curve around. The only thing I can think of is that it might end up going up the east coast instead of curving around, but we'll just have to see. But like I said, obviously take this with a grain of salt. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and again, leave any comments, questions, or concerns that you guys are wondering about down below if you haven't already, and I will get to them as quick as possible. And I hope you guys do have a great day.